I've got some cool stuff to share with you about great grip. Now, great grip is hard to find, and in this episode, I'm gonna show you 3 things. Number 1, where does grip really come from? I'm gonna bust the biggest myth of how applying weight to your hands gives you grip on the front tire. Number 2, we're gonna do an experiment in real life to show you exactly how much pressure goes into these tires to give you grip. And we're also gonna talk, number 3, about the science of how to get more grip while you turn or while you go down something steep like this. So pay attention and let's dive in. I'm on a mission to solve the progression problem by restoring athleticism, and our athleticism helps us apply pressure to the bike, which is what gives us our grip. The more pressure that we have on the tire gives us more grip because you can feel it. If you push your hands together really hard and try to move them, they won't move. That increases the friction. If you barely touch your hands together and slide them, you can feel how little grip there is. So the more we push on the tires, the more pressure there is. This also is a function as well of the different tires that we have. We have very grippy, soft tires. So like the type that I'm running right now are a soft compound. They're not the softest, but they're pretty soft. And it allows me to really dig into the terrain without me adding as much pressure. The problem is that these tires sometimes wear out a little bit faster and sometimes they roll a little bit slower. So they're more appropriate for like a downhill area like this one. Now, if you ride a harder compound tire or a softer compound tire, this is for you because the more pressure we apply is just going to give us more grip. And the more grip we have, the more better it is, unless you're trying to do a tire slide like this one, which is also fun. But again, we're trying to add more grip here, so let's focus on that. So there's a couple things we want to do before we get in and talk about some techniques and some of the secrets that I'm going to debunk. And the first one is going to be tire pressure. So I'm going to add a tire pressure guide below here, but I'm also going to flash it up on the screen. These are some general guidelines of where you want to start if you're running tubeless. It's completely different if you run tubes. It's completely different if you run tire inserts. And I put some calculations in there, but start with good tire pressure. Currently, I'm running 24 in the front and 29 in the rear on an enduro casing tire. And what this means is that the tire is a little bit compliant. It's got some good stiff sidewall, but it allows the tire to move some, okay? And so with my tire setup, this allows the tire to kind of conform to the ground as well. So once you've got your tire pressure set up and you've got everything and your tire's ready to go, let's talk about the number 1 myth that most riders get stuck with, which is they need to add pressure to the hands in order to get more pressure to the front tire. Why is it that we think pushing on the bars as we go downhill, we get more grip? If I'm leaning back on the bars, we think if our weight is back, then not as much of it is on the front tire. It's a little bit true, but it doesn't actually help you nearly as much as you think. If we do too much of that and not enough of what really gives us our grip, then ultimately we end up paying a big price for that a little bit extra grip that we get. So think about it, if I'm going really steep downhill here, notice where my balance really is. It's actually in my feet, and if I just lean more into the bars, if that all I'm really doing is I'm pushing on my handlebars, and really what I've done is I've only moved my body weight forward by an inch or 2. I probably weigh 195 pounds of sweat right now because I'm soaked from building this trail over the past 3 hours. And this body weight of mine, if I take it and I move it from here to here, I might weight the front wheel another 5 or 10 pounds out of the 190 pounds that I have to give it. And if you think about it, that's like a handful of a percent more. If you're losing traction, you don't need 5 or 10% more units of grip, you need to double it. I like to think about it like this. Get on your bike and either hold on to something with your brakes on, or you can put your handlebar up against a tree, and I want you to just go downhill. Aim the bike down like this and bounce on the pedals and feel your body weight being able to press into your front heel. You can see the sole of my shoe down there, I'm sure. And what you want to look for is the ability to either drop both heels like this and press down into the bike, okay? When we press down evenly, it allows for us to actually translate gravity down straight into the front wheel. So it really doesn't help you that much to just weight the bars. Now, let me talk about this, because when we put a little bit of weight onto the palms of the hand, so to speak, and we push, it does give us some feedback from the bike. And this is good as long as you can do this while you're going downhill. This is good because if you're going downhill, we want to be able to make adjustments like this. And you can see it on the replay here. I do these little adjustments where I'm moving the bar side to side and I've got freedom of movement of the bike. What's bad is if I'm here and locked. So many of you try to get more grip by pushing on the bars and doing like a big old bench press and just clenching as tight as you can. The reason that's a problem is because you get a lot of stability between the bike and the body, but you lose the connection between the ground and the tire. So in other words, if I'm very stiff, my suspension can only do so much of absorbing those bumps. And then if I'm braking over that route, then I can slide if I'm really, really stiff. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. But can you see why this myth of just like weighting the front tire with the hands doesn't really do much? It only gives you a tiny little bit of extra pressure in the front tire. And what really gives you pressure in the front tire is being even and controlled through the feet like this. And so the key that you want to look for is, drop your heels, really be able to brace into that front foot. And you should be able to see your heel if you film yourself like this. Now that we've busted the myth a little bit of where grip really comes from, I talked about being nice and stable and even through the feet first. So a lot of people talk about heavy feet, light hands, and I prefer to talk a little bit about targeting the traction instead. Brake, brake, brake.
Target acquired.
So what is targeting the traction? Well, if gravity's always on, we want to use it to our advantage. And if grip always goes up, if we press more into the tires, well, how can we use gravity to do more of that? Now, real quick, can I ask your help for something? Because right now we're on a mission to solve the progression problem by restoring athleticism, but I need you to share this in a mountain biking group with the share button below. Go and share this with a friend right now, like and comment on this for the algorithm because we need more people to see this. Right now, we're closing in on 50,000 subscribers, and that means riders like you all over the globe are helping their skills out, they're becoming more safe, they're taking care of their health, we're all doing it together. So go ahead and do that now. Thanks very much. One way we can do it is we can wait to brake until there's a good solid thing to push into or something that's very grippy to run over. And so that's just more of a strategy thing. So what I would do is I would go out to the trail and find little spots on the trail in some turns where there's more traction than not and try to do my turn there. If there's maybe a downhill section where there's rocks and roots and then a little section of the trail where it's pretty grippy, try to do my braking right in that section and be very intentional about it. So this strategy can teach you where you can get good grip and put your effort into braking or, catching your turn in order for you to navigate the trail like that. So how else can we use gravity to increase the pressure in our tires when we're riding to get more grip, even if there isn't much? Well, one thing we can do is we can use what I call torso tracking. Torso tracking helps us target the traction by allowing us to free fall through the field of gravity and then stop free falling when we want more pressure. So think about pumping at a pump track. What we can do is we go and we extend and we compress and we extend and we compress. And as we do this, the pressure in our tires goes up and down. This one big move is the same thing that you can do anywhere and everywhere on the trail. So essentially, how do you pump or how do you do torso tracking out on the trail? Right before you need some traction, what you can do is you can drop the torso down, and at the time you need the traction, you can uncoil the body and you can stomp through your feet and really stand up quickly. And what this will do, it will multiply the force of that gravity from you falling down, and you can translate it into the feet to add more pressure to the tires and get more grip. This is a much better strategy than just weighting the front tire with your hands in general, and it's something that you should practice off of the crazy trails like this one. Now again, just to clarify, in some cases, shifting the body weight forward or making a move a little bit forward is very useful. So for example, on this quick turn right here, I could slide my back tire out more by shifting my body weight forward just a little bit as I did this quick turn. All right, remember at the beginning of the video how I said that I would do a science experiment to show you guys exactly what I mean and why all of this is so true? And so let's find out and really prove exactly how much weight goes into our front tire when we shift our body weight or when you weight your hands. So let's roll the front tire up onto the scale and see what it weighs when I've got just completely 100% of my body weight in the pedals only.
82.1.
Now let's have a look at if I weight my hands and really lean forward while on flat ground. Interesting. Okay. Now I have a theory. My theory is that if I do the same thing while the bike is angled down, then I'm going to get less weight transfer onto that front tire than if I did, percentage-wise, on flat ground. That's my thesis, that's my theory. Let's see if I'm right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a little experiment. I'm gonna angle the bike down and mimic the forces of the tire on the ground with the rear brake applied, and let's see what happens. All right, drum roll please. 89.9, okay, ready? 97.9, interesting. All right, put a comment below with what you thought was gonna happen, and if you think it's a ridiculous experiment, I want the engineers to fight it out. Now, for those of you that have been stuck on the intermediate skill plateau, in other words, you know what to do, but when it comes time to perform, you choke, you ride stiff, or you're grabbing brake, and you've been stuck for more than a couple weeks on any given skill, I want you to apply to the Athlete Accelerator right now. Go below and click below. You're gonna see a video. It's going to walk you through our thesis, our system, and our mentorship program that we do. And it's got an application for you to work with one of our elite mentors one-to-one. This is not for you if you are just okay with next season being the same as this one. We work with dedicated intermediate to advanced mountain bikers who want to shred with confidence, hit jumps, rail corners, absolutely hit their very best riding that they've ever had, and do that for the next 10 or 20 years. Our riders are typically 35 years up to 77 years old, and we've got a couple spots open to work with some of our best mentors right now. So go ahead and click that link right now to apply to work with me and my team directly, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.